Hey everyone, if you've spent, any time online lately, you've absolutely been targeted by the massive promise of side hustles. It's pitched as this ultimate ticket out of the whole paycheck to paycheck grind. But today, we're going to look past those flashy highlight reels, crunch the actual numbers, and uncover the stark, hidden costs behind the hustle. Let's get right into it. You have likely seen this relentless mantra or something really similar, promising a fast track to financial freedom. The pitch is super simple, right? Just work a little harder, start a hustle, push through the hours you don't actually have. And honestly, millions of exhausted adults have taken this advice straight to heart, just hoping to build a better life for themselves. But before you go and sacrifice your precious evenings and weekends, we really need to stop and ask, is this popular advice actually setting you up for financial freedom? Or is it just locking you into a brand new layer of exhaustion? Let's dive in and separate the hype from the actual data. So, there is a massive gap here between the promise and the reality. While gurus promise a fast lane out of financial stress, actual surveys tell a vastly different story. Now, the side hustle economy in the US is genuinely huge. We're talking millions of adults striving for delivery ops, reselling items, doing freelance work. But once you account for the realistic hours available after a full-time job, that extra hustle often only brings in enough to cover like a single bill. It's definitely not the life-changing income featured in those courses trying to sell you on the whole idea. Here's the thing. A side hustle isn't just free money. It literally carves its hours directly out of a finite 24-hour day. The time you spend hustling is usually traded directly against the hours that would otherwise go to sleep, physical recovery, or, your family and loved ones. You're pulling from a reservoir that is probably already dangerously low. And this leads us straight to burnout. Consistently working a second job stacked right on top of a full-time one over months or years is strongly associated with higher reported burnout and reduced sleep. And here is the brutal irony. These measurable physical and emotional costs directly reduce your health and your performance at your primary job, the job that's actually paying the majority of your bills. So the absolutely crucial point is this. When you price in what those specific hours were actually worth, not just the few dollars earned, but what they cost you in health, rest, and relationships, a huge share of side hustles completely stop looking like a smart trade. Instead, they transform into this quiet, draining tax on your already extremely limited time. Now, this brings up a fascinating structural question that we absolutely have to address. If millions of people are out there doing the hard work, sacrificing their sleep, and very few are actually getting rich, well, who is really benefiting from this massive trend? Where is all that money actually flowing? The reality is that the advice to start a side hustle is disproportionately profitable for the people giving the advice rather than the folks actually following it. The real, substantial revenue is being generated through online courses, coaching programs, and affiliate link tools built around teaching you how to start your hustle. And this creates a very specific, one-way incentive. Basically, the people selling these products are financially motivated to make the whole process sound way easier and far more lucrative than it actually is. Yeah, the most consistent income in this entire space frequently isn't the hustle itself. It's teaching other people how to try it. And honestly, it's incredibly validating to realize this. If your side hustle is exhausting you for very little pay, it is not a personal failure. You didn't do something wrong. You are simply engaging with a system that is fundamentally built to profit off your hope and your effort. Instead of feeling guilty, let's equip you with a mathematical framework to evaluate genuine opportunities so you don't trade your exhausted hours for pennies. Here's a specific 3-part filter you must run before committing your valuable time to any secondary income stream. First, calculate your real hourly rate, and yes, that includes setup time. Second, identify the trade-off, like what are you actually giving up? And third, look for a realistic ceiling. Does this scale, or are you just perpetually trading time for dollars? Let's look at a stark reality check here. Say you find a seemingly great side hustle that brings in an extra $400 a month. That sounds fantastic on a highlight reel, right? But what does it actually pay per hour? Well, when you divide your $400 monthly return by the hours you actually spent on it, and I mean really, including the unpaid time spent learning the platform, marketing your services, managing the clients, let's say that's 25 hours total. Your real rate is just $16 an hour, and that is before your expenses. For many people, once the real math is done, they realize they're just working a second, highly stressful, minimum wage job. With all this math exposing the illusion and realizing what those hours are costing your health, you might be wondering if we should just abandon the concept of secondary income entirely. Like, are they ever actually worth it? The answer is yes, but only under specific conditions. They absolutely can work if they meet these criteria. If they build a transferable skill that increases your market value, if they utilize time that was genuinely going to be unproductive anyway, or if they have an evidence-based, realistic path to scaling up beyond just a few dollars an hour. When they function as genuine business building or skill building, rather than just trading your exhausted hours for dollars, they can for sure be an incredible tool.
Struggling with a side hustle is usually the predictable result of following advice that's far more profitable to give than it is to follow. It's a structural illusion designed to sell courses. It is not a personal failure on your part.
As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. Take a step back and run the real math on a hustle you've tried, or maybe one you're considering right now. When you factor in the setup, the learning curve, and the sleep you lost, what did it actually pay per hour? Ultimately, you have to ask yourself, are you building your own wealth, or are you just funding someone else's? Protect your time, everyone. Thanks for joining me to uncover the hidden cost of hustling.